I'm Joshua and I'm an INTP, and first and foremost I would like to say thank you for viewing this video and subsequently visiting my channel. The topic of this video is going to be on creativity and modernity. And really what I want to say is that I think creativity is being usurped in America and is being used for the wrong purposes, mainly for fiscal ventures. So if you pay attention to where most productivity and where most cultural social change is occurring, it's occurring in the economic sphere. So it's been through fiscal ingenuity by hedge fund managers and those on Wall Street, which have led to several bubbles and crashes within the recent decades, as well as the development of apps and the analytic space of the web experience in terms of marketing and Cambridge Analytica and various other movements, as well as technological innovations with the advent of the iPhone and you name it, all things that resulted from the development of transistor technology, that creativity in America is being funneled in a particular direction, even with graphic or visual art, graphic design, and media towards the marketing share of the world and being an instrument for catching the eye and attention of America is becoming the prominent interest and concern of creative endeavor in the country. Even if you're a painter, it's about being creative and marketing oneself and really knowing how to stake claim in an entrepreneurial scheme or gain. And in most research, people are being concerned with creativity and openness in America as it pertains to entrepreneurial ventures. Whether or not you can generate a business and pivot on an idea and gain an immense amount of capital is really the measure and value of creativity in America. We have no real appreciation for creativity from the standpoint of creators. And when I say creators, I mean creatives from the romantic sense or the romantic tradition. Individuals that were most chiefly concerned with the expression of self at the expense of self. So those souls who are willing to burn themselves, house, soul, and all for the production of world or the generation of world. From genius does the Western world emerge. It is from the acts of genius or collective creativity over time that this Western world came to be. And it is not without the creativity that has arisen in the arts. It's not without the creativity that has arisen in fundamental scientific research, that it is not those creativities that are being most championed and understood and valued now in our present time. And my question is when will the creators emerge? When will those who actually don the lightning come into this world? When is the last time it has been that someone has created a new philosophical school? Not any school that can be attributed to any political thought or extension of some type of logic, but a philosophical school that's in the great tradition, in the likeness of the great traditions of existentialism or humanism, a philosophical thought that is like Hegel's philosophy of history. It's a culmination of a certain methodology in science, worldview, a true worldview. When is the last time a worldview has come into the world to radically transform what we understand and think about reality? This has not come in quite some time. Philosophy is stagnant in the sense that philosophy has reduced itself down to being something of a policer of science, something that has a critical lens and vantage point towards science, political affairs, and possibly the everyday experiences of the world. But the main kind of interest is reinstilling past values, but there are no new values. Where are the creation of the new values? Furthermore, where are the poets? There is no poet that grips the world right now. There is no Yeats. There is no Eliot. There is no Shakespeare. There aren't. Where is he or she who will supplant Shakespeare? When will the canon be realized and finalized? When will the actual revelation happen where the beginning is here but the end draws nigh, in the sense of the return of the figure, the return of the great thing, the return of the savior, but not really the savior, the imaginative hero? Where are the heroes of imagination in our modern age? The most you get is somebody like Steven Spielberg or George Lucas. They make incredible media and entertainment, but where is the great novel? One can say that, no, well, Joshua, our attention has turned away from this scholastic scene. It's turned away from the classical aesthetics and has become more entrenched into a modern aesthetic that can be more edifying and reach a broader audience. But I say this, that creativity is, there are only a few world creators. Creativity is something that's been democratized per se, and its most prominent feature of democratization is the idea that everyone is creative. I'm not going to say whether or not all people are creative. I will say this, though, that creativity is something that chiefly and principally belongs to the elite. It belongs to the genius. Creativity is not a feature of the middle class. And I don't mean middle class in the sense of, actual socioeconomic class. I mean middle class from the spirit of mediocrity. Creativity is not something that is here for the leveling of individuals, but for the rise of individuals, for the glory of individuals, for the emergence of excellence and heroicism. Those great individuals who dare, who create world out of self. When will they emerge in domains again? It's not technological innovation, honestly, that drives the development of Western society. It's the idea of intellectual development. The idea of a computer was literally an idea of mathematical philosophy and an interest of a certain mathematician that had several consequences that turned themselves over and over and over and over until you get something like transistor technology. The function of GPS and the fact that it exists and surveillance and so on and so forth is here because of the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity is here because of philosophical traditions such as Spinoza and his naturalism, or the convincing logical positivism that was prominent around the time of Einstein. It's not like creativity is something that is localized to some sector. All sectors of creative achievement influence creative achievement, though it has to be this kind of cascading, rippling effect. You need creative literary geniuses in order to have creative poets, to have poetic geniuses. You need those poetic geniuses in order to have philosophical geniuses. You need those philosophical geniuses in order to have scientific geniuses. You need those scientific geniuses in order to have mathematical geniuses. And the circle will continue to revolve round and round and round and round and round and round again. But there is no one that you can prize. The only thing that you ought to prize, and the only thing that you ought to care about, the only thing that you ought to say is salient, the only thing that you ought to say is important is greatness. It is greatness in the arts. It is greatness in the fundamental research. It is greatness within the classical scholastic domains. It is when we build these great towers, whether or not you want to say that they're Towers of Babel, or whether or not you want to say that they're all just cheap pieces of sand. It doesn't really matter. They're all necessary. You don't get the world from nothing. You get the world from a Hegelian dialectic. You get the world from the idea of quanta. You get the world from the conception of the electron. You get the world from the statement, know thyself. You get the world from the Socratic method. You have all matters of law and all matters of rhetoric, all matters of whatever salient that is our tools and bartering ways of seeing the world. You get all of those things from great creative achievement. And we need great creative achievement in the world. A marketing campaign is not a great creative achievement. It may be something that is creative, and it may be something that lives with our time and our age, but I don't think that the world that's going to come after ours is going to be as interested in our marketing campaigns as we are. If they are still so damn trite and shallow such that they still care about the current dollar system, then perhaps they will still be interested in those campaigns that can tend to rake in the greatest dollars. But even money is an innovation in itself. Money doesn't have any value. It's the things that we do to earn the money. It's the way that it's exchanged. It's the debt that's racked up that has the value. It's what people want. It's what people say. It's what people imbue and give to it. But it's nothing real. It's just an abstraction. And like all other abstractions and aspects of civilization, it can disappear, and there could potentially be a crash. But what's going to happen in the world when that disappears? We need the creatives. We need the creators, not creative people. I don't want creative people. I want people that want to be ideals. I want people that want to burn. I want people that want to make the world out of themselves. It's those that will come with lightning. It's as Nietzsche said, he or she who comes with the lightning. I come with lightning. I come with thunder that is red. Let the sky bleed because I have come. Let it all be made anew. Let it all wash over. Create the value and the meaning in the world. Create the world. Be a world creator. Don't settle for the narrative of now or the mediocre democratization of creativity. I mean, creativity is not something for the masses. It's not something for those who care to live a contented existence. This idea that, if you're going to be creative, don't quit your day job. If you're going to be creative, you ought to take care of yourself. If you're going to be creative, save your money. All of these ideas are rubble. They're not not rubble in the sense that they're not valuable from the pragmatic standpoint, but you have to understand, you build yourself up so that you can burn yourself. You're not here to take care of yourself if you're a creator. You're here to do enough to get yourself up to a certain threshold such that you can blaze, and you can blaze magnanimously. That you save up money so you have capital to do things with. You get that capital so that you can change and transform things in the world. You quit your job if your job does not allow you to be the highest expression of yourself. You do whatever you have to do to show the world what it really means to be human again. You are an expression, a representation. They talk about Christ, they talk about Buddha, they talk about all of these individuals, but they don't know that they were just all the creators. They were just all the creators. Plato was just a creator. Socrates was just a creator. All were just creators. We make them into these glorified figures, ideals, and even religious iconography, but they were all just this expression of the creator. Be the creator. That's what you ought to be in the world. It should cost you something. You should want to pay that cost if you truly want to be a creator. And that's what we need. We don't need more people to go to the university to be another employee. And we don't need people to be another another venture capitalist or entrepreneurial, diva. Elon Musk is not going to save the world. The person that's going to save the world is somebody who creates world. It's not somebody who, it's just not what anybody's doing. Nobody's doing it right now. Some people are hinting towards it. Some people are getting close. But right now what has most people's attention is the fiscal scene, the political scene, the political economic scene, some combination of those two things. Most people care too much about their own group. They care more about, Black America or white America or Latino America. They care more about being a woman in women's suffrage, or they care more about being an academic, or they care more about their union, or they care more about this, or they care more about that, or something, that or the other. They're not there for the work. Creators are tough. They're hard. They're strong. It is work. That is all that they're here for, to produce, to create work. Will all creators profit from their work? No, but I return to an idea that Nietzsche had. Too much do people nowadays want to profit from the works of their labor now. No more are those hands that wish to toil on those tasks that require centuries and centuries to manifest themselves. Where are the great ages? It takes subsequent prerequisite ages to create great ages. The reason why this world is drab, the reason why it's uninspiring, is because we stopped putting our hands on the plow, to borrow a biblical metaphor. It's not at all the case and point that it's not at all acceptable that we have this cornucopia of decadence and lavishness and comfort. It's not at all acceptable that we're satisfied with this world, but at the same time completely cynical and critical of it, while we are not being those who actively, and I mean actively in the truest sense of the word, passion, to suffer. We're not actively committing and working towards some suffrage to create something new. There is no new coming into the world because nobody wants to risk. Nobody wants to lose, and nobody wants to burn themselves up. I say burn yourself up. Sacrifice yourself. It's like everybody wants to be happy. To hell with positive emotion, man. I mean, the point of life is not to be happy. The point of life is to be something magnanimous, to be great. When will people care about being magnanimous again? When will there be great souls? Be great. There is no political figure that's going to make America great again. America is going to be great because there will be great individuals in America. There will be great people in America. Greatness is not determined by wealth. Maybe there is some correlation between how great you are and how much money you earn, but God help me. When will the true values, the noble values, stand again? Life should not be a popularity contest, and sticking to the tried and true and appealing to the predilections and taste of the masses is not at all what makes a world. It is not at all what creates greatness. To hell with what most people care about. To hell with what most people value. They don't know what they value. They don't know what they care for anywhere. They don't have any taste. The only thing that they have is their religion and their tradition. They don't know really what it means to exist, and they don't really know what it means to be in the world because they prefer to be anesthetized. They would rather suck their opioids than to actually get out there and create, to be creators, to accept the ruggedness and the difficulty of the existential burden of reality. Make yourself something that suffers. Make yourself something that suffers and sacrifices yourself to yourself. If you want there to be a final climax to your existence, then sacrifice yourself to yourself. Pick that highest ideal that lives in you, that you cannot live up to, even if you give your greatest effort, and pursue it. Pursue it until it dries you out, until it runs you ragged, until the only thing you can understand is the pit. The only thing you can understand really is how you don't measure up. The only thing you can understand is to have loathingness for self. Any man who doesn't know self-hate, any woman who doesn't know self-hate, any man who doesn't know what it means to really bully oneself, what it really means to torture oneself, what it really means to be displeased with self, any person who doesn't know that is not at all trying to pursue their ideal. They're not at all trying to be a great thing. And I say, to hell with this package and this pill. To hell with what this world is selling you. If you really want to be someone who is more than now, who's more than themselves, then be a creator. Be a creator, because we need the creators to create the world. That's all that, makes history turn. History is just one great narrative of great kingdoms, great civilizations, great ages, their conflicts, great people, their struggles. That's it. All else is awashed and gets consumed and sucked up by all the rest. Strength. Act out a strong existence. Be one who values the strength to create. Be a creator.